Hello, everyone. I hope everything is going well today. My name is Amber Kromah. I am a certified physician assistant. I work in an emergency room. I'm also a culinary medicine specialist and a doctor of medical science candidate. I am also the co-owner of KromahFit Meals, LLC, which is a meal prep company in PG County. This presentation is basically a walkthrough of a grocery store. I wanted to show you all the best way to shop on a budget and healthy in order to prepare your meals for the week. So it's called Let's Go Grocery Shopping. So I did a walkthrough of my favorite grocery store, which is Giant. My local neighborhood Giants is always well stocked. The employees are amazing there. The manager is visible at all times, and they have really good sales, in my opinion. Giants offers a bonus card reward system where as long as you use your bonus card, you get extra savings on top of the normal store sales. And you also can use your bonus points. So each point is equivalent to $1 that you spend in the store. So if you spend $100 in the store, you get 100 points, and you can use those 100 points for 10 cents off at a Shell gas station. So I like it because it kind of kills two birds with one stone. It saves you money in the grocery store as well as when you're driving and putting gas in your car. So this is the local ad for this past weekend. The ad or the sale ends today, but I did the grocery store walkthrough a few days ago. So when I walk into the Giant, my neighborhood Giant, the first part of this store in the front is always the produce section on my right side. So I always start by getting my produce. Now, I love for breakfast to eat a fruit bowl. And I usually put strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, sometimes banana, golden kiwi, and sometimes pineapples. So I normally get the pints of strawberries. These are on sale for buy two, get one free. But in my household, I eat the strawberries. One of my daughters eat the strawberries and my husband eats the strawberries. So we can easily go through 3 pints in 1 week. So they're buy two, get one free. And then the blueberries are also buy two, get one free. Now, you don't have to buy all of that. You can just get one of one if you don't want to waste it. But strawberries are very good fruit. Strawberries also clean your teeth. The seeds clean your teeth. I didn't know that until recently. And then blueberries offer antioxidants. The pineapples are not for sale this week. Usually, sometimes if they're on sale, they're normally $1.99 for each pineapple, but $2.49 is still not bad. And what I found is that when you buy the fruit whole like this and you cut it up yourself, it's a lot cheaper and you get a lot more bang for your buck than if you already bought cut up fruit that the store already cut up for you. Next, I go to the bananas. Bananas are usually 49 to 59 cents a pound. And I usually get a bunch of bananas that has like 5 or 6 bananas on it. It's usually $1 and some change. So I love to get bananas. Apples are on sale this week. My favorite are Gala apples. They are pretty sweet and they're nice and firm. Granny Smith, I don't particularly like Granny Smith, but one of my daughters does. They are kind of sour, but both of these apples are in season right now. So that's why they're on sale for $1.88 a pound. I usually get the bag of apples that has about 8 to 10 apples in it for like $4. And then to the right, we have grapes. The grapes were almost sold out, as you can see, but these grapes are on sale for $4.99 for the whole container. And this container of grapes, what I usually do is take it home, wash it, put it into a Ziploc bag so that it stores in the refrigerator a little better, and they last us the whole week. Next, I head over to the vegetable section of the produce. My daughters, that's the only vegetable they'll eat is broccoli, unfortunately, but it's still a really good vegetable to eat. So we get broccoli. The broccoli crowns are $1.99 per pound. Usually I buy like 2 crowns and then you just wash it really good and cut it off the crown. Steam it in a pot of water for a couple of minutes because you want it to still be firm. As long as you don't boil it and you steam it, the nutrients stay in the broccoli and don't get lost into the water. So the best bet is to get broccoli or any vegetable and steam it with just a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan instead of filling the filling the pot up with water, because then the nutrients stay in the actual vegetable instead of getting lost into the water. My favorite raw vegetable to snack on are these mini sweet peppers. They are not sweet, but they taste better than just eating a raw like bell pepper. And these are $4.99 a pound, and they usually last me the whole week. I normally take like a Ziploc bag and put about 5 in them, and that's like my snack. It doesn't fill me up, but it adds in a vegetable, and that's what we want. We want to eat more vegetables. To the right, we have asparagus. Now, asparagus, in my point of view, is like a splurge vegetable because it's very expensive. $3.49 a pound is on sale because usually they're $4 a pound. And that one bunch with the purple rubber bands around, that one bunch is about a pound. So it'll typically be $3.49 for that one bunch. And what I like to do is cut the end off and then put it into the oven and like oven roast it. Very good. Okay, next we have spaghetti squash. Now, I didn't discover spaghetti squash until I became an adult, but spaghetti squash is amazing in actual spaghetti because it looks and tastes like spaghetti. So what you do with the spaghetti squash, and it's 99 cents a pound, it's on sale, and one whole spaghetti squash is usually about 3 pounds. So you'll pay about $3 for it. But what you'll do is you'll cut the stem off, and then you'll slice it directly down the middle. You'll take the seeds out of the middle. You drizzle a little olive oil on it with a little bit of salt and pepper, place them upside down so that the mounds are up, and put it upside down on a pan, like just a regular baking pan. Put it in the oven for about 30 minutes on 400. And now you have roasted spaghetti squash. And then you'll take it out, you'll hold it like this and take your fork and literally just scrape the inside out. And it looks just like spaghetti. And I like it better than like spiraling vegetables. That's like what's in nowadays, spiraling zucchini, spiraling squash, to substitute for noodles. I think the spaghetti squash is better, and it tastes better, and it has like the texture more like spaghetti than the spiral veggies. So that's kind of a hack for adding in vegetable into your spaghetti and replacing spaghetti noodles. Next, we have cabbage. Cabbage is a very inexpensive vegetable. It's 79 cents a pound for the green cabbage. I prefer the red cabbage because any fruit or vegetable that's purple or blue is going to add in extra antioxidants. So I prefer the red cabbage, but they didn't have any in my giant this week. So red cabbage is usually 99 cents a pound to maybe $1.49 a pound. It's still pretty inexpensive, and you can get a lot of cabbage out of one head. So cabbage is a nice, inexpensive, budget-friendly vegetable to eat. On the right, we have another splurge vegetable, that's Brussels sprouts, but I love, 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 love Brussels sprouts. They literally look like little baby cabbages. And this bag here is steamable in the microwave. So all you have to do is poke a hole into it and put it in the microwave, I believe on 3 to 5 minutes, and you have Brussels sprouts. Next, we have the leafy green vegetables. Now, leafy green vegetables are amazing. They are pretty much superfoods. Kale and spinach, super foods. So I don't particularly like kale like eaten cooked. I don't like it. I don't like the way it tastes. I prefer spinach cooked. But for the kale, because it's such a great source of vitamins A and vitamin C, it's great when you put it into a smoothie because then it's raw. So if you're making like a strawberry banana or pineapple mango something smoothie, you add in about a handful of kale. Now you have added vegetables to your smoothie. You don't taste them, and you're adding in more vitamins into your diet. So the kale is $3.99 for a 2-pound bag, and it stretches. The spinach on the right-hand side, I chose this spinach because it's nice and inexpensive. Some of the other bags of spinach are way more expensive than this particular store brand of spinach. And it all tastes the same, honestly. So I will get 2 bags of this for $3 versus 1 bag of the bottom kale. If you can see, it says cooking with kale. I'm sorry, cooking with spinach. 1 bag of that is $4. So I like to just get the two bags at the top. Then in the middle, we have salad mix. What I wanted to tell you about salad mix is the darker the leaf, the better. So you want to go for the darker leaves, such as the spring mix, the field greens, even romaine. You want to kind of stay away from like the American blend, which is going to be mostly iceberg lettuce. It's just mostly water. It's not as packed with nutrients as the spring mix and field greens and spinach and green and kale greens. You want to go for the darker greens when you're looking for salad. Next, we have shrimp or seafood. So I wanted to show you shrimp in the case versus frozen shrimp. If you're looking for like peel and eat shrimp, you want to go for the case shrimp because it's large and jumbo. The large shrimp is on sale this week for $9.99 a pound. Now, in the case, when it comes to shrimp, they're going to have wild caught and farm raised. You want to try to go for wild caught as much as possible. Wild caught means that the shrimp or the fish is in its natural habitat in the ocean versus they are raising it on a farm. It's not as, like the water's not as clean because you don't have like the algae cleaning it. So you always want to try to go for wild caught shrimp and wild caught fish. So this shrimp is on sale. You can get this and they can steam it in the back for you too. And then I have a picture of cooked salad shrimp. It's significantly smaller, but if you're on a budget and this is more affordable for you, go for this. It's still shrimp. I typically put this shrimp in my daughter's shrimp scampi. She loves shrimp scampi, and it's still a great source of protein. On the right-hand side, we have two different types of fish, tilapia and cod. Now, tilapia is going to be a flaky fish, and it's a very lean cut of fish, so it doesn't have a lot of fat in it. It's a great option. It is farm raised though. Like I said, I prefer to stay away from farm raised and go towards more wild caught, but the tilapia is very budget friendly. Right now it's on sale for $5.99 a pound. Sometimes you can even find it on sale for $4.99 a pound. And if you get it frozen, it's even less expensive. Then you have cod on the right. The label it might be incorrect that it's farm raised because I've never seen cod farm raised. I normally see cod as wild caught. Cod and whiting are usually wild caught, but also a great flaky fish option that is lean and not a lot of fat. So then we have my favorite fish to the left, salmon. I could eat salmon multiple times a week. I could probably eat it for lunch and dinner in the same day. I love, love, love salmon. Now, I'm going to be a hypocrite because I just know I told y'all to try to choose wild caught. I don't like the taste of wild caught salmon. That's just me. But wild caught salmon is obviously a better option. It's less fatty. And it's, like I said, it's caught in the wild in its natural habitat. But it's more expensive. So for my budget, I like to choose the farm raised salmon. And I also just prefer the taste of farm raised salmon. And it's a great fish. It is fatty, but it's omega-3 fats, which are good for your heart. It's good fats. Then in the middle, I have Soy Fillets. Now, this is another type of fish that's similar in texture to like tilapia. It's going to be a flaky fish that is very lean. And this is a good option because it's very, very budget friendly. Now, if you can see, this is frozen. So frozen means it's going to last a little longer. And it's also individually packed. So you can take one out if you're, just by yourself, only cooking for yourself or only cooking for one meal. You can take 1 to 2 fillets out and then keep the rest frozen. Great option. So here I wanted to show you the nutrition labels because now we're going to start looking at nutrition labels. 1 4-ounce fillet, which is individually wrapped, has only 60 calories. That's amazing. Only 0.5 grams of total fat, and none of it is saturated. Saturated fat is the bad fat. That's the fat that is going to, clog your arteries. So you want to stay away from saturated fat. So this is, no saturated fat and only 0.5 grams of total fat. Great option. But look at the sodium, 470 milligrams. That's where meat gets you because a lot of meat already naturally has sodium in it. So you want to be careful about how much seasoning you're going to put on top of it. my recommendation would be to use a salt-free seasoning and use salt as sparingly as possible so that you keep your sodium intake down. No carbs and 14 grams of sugar. I'm sorry, 14 grams of protein, sorry. So soy fillets are a great option for your seafood. Then we have probably my least favorite slide, because I love a wing. I live for Old Bay wings or just even fried wings, but wings are not our friends. So we want to try to limit the amount of wings. I'm definitely not the type to say don't eat them because I'll crave them and then I'll overindulge. I'm going to just say eat them as limited as possible and choose the leaner chicken breast more often than you choose the wings. That's what I'll say. So here I have the nutrition facts for chicken thighs, which are boneless and skinless, chicken breasts, also boneless and skinless, and chicken wings. As you can see, the serving size is the same across the board, 4 ounces. Now, 4 ounces is literally one whole wing, one drum and flat with the little wing tip. One wing is 4 ounces. It has 210 calories and 15 grams of fat because it still has that skin on there. 4.5 grams of that total fat is saturated, the bad fat. So that's why I'm saying we want to kind of stay away from chicken wings as much as we can. I absolutely understand you need to live and you need to live your best life. And I love to live my best life by eating Old Bay wings, but we want to limit it. Chicken breast would be a much better option at 120 calories per 4 ounce serving, with 2.5 grams of total fat and only 0.5 grams of that is saturated. So that's a better option. But look at the sodium, 320 milligrams. It has the highest amount of sodium out of all 3 pieces of chicken. Why? I don't know. So just be careful when it comes to seasoning. Like I said, it's best to try to use a salt-free seasoning and just a tiny, tiny bit of salt. And then the chicken thighs that are boneless and skinless, 140 calories with 4.5 grams of total fat. Only 1 gram of that is saturated. So that's a good option as well. The key is you want to have as little skin as possible because skin is added fat. Next, we have ground turkey. I like to use ground turkey in my tacos as well as spaghetti. Anything that you would typically use ground beef in, I prefer to use ground turkey. You want to kind of stay away from red meats or limit them as much as possible. Red meats, including beef, even lamb. Lamb is grass-fed. It's a little better, but definitely beef because research has shown that red meat is linked to an increased risk of stomach cancer. And even when you're doing steaks, when you go to a restaurant, sometimes they fire grill the steaks, or like on a regular fire grill outside, if you do it at home, or in a restaurant, it's fire grilled. And fire, that fire and that smoke is a carcinogen, which means that it has been linked to an increased risk of cancers. So you want to kind of stay away from red meats as much as possible, which is why I choose turkey. For the turkey, you have to be mindful of how much fat you're choosing. So on the left-hand side, I have 85% lean, 15% fat. On the right side, 93% lean and 7% fat. I want to show you the difference in the fat and the calories. So in a 4 ounce serving, you have 240 calories of in the 85-15, 160 calories in the 93-7. When it comes to fat, the 85-15 has double the fat than the 93-7. Everything else is similar. So the keynote here is to choose the leaner cuts of ground turkey, which is the 93-7, even 90-10. Sometimes they have 90% lean and 10% fat. Either of those are better options than the 85% and 85% lean and 15% fat. All right, now we're moving into the snack aisle. Now, these both are great options for snacks. The Ritz crackers baked with whole wheat, because it has 5 grams of whole grain per 15 gram serving. Now, in the previous presentation I did, we talked about whole grains and how they are better options for your carbohydrates instead of just simple carbs. You want to choose complex carbs, and complex carbs include whole grains. So these whole grain crackers are going to be a better option than just the regular Ritz crackers. And honestly, they taste the same. There's no difference in taste. I even give them to my 5-year-old daughter and she can't tell the difference. So I usually go with the whole wheat ones. Similar to the wheat thins, you want to go with 100% whole grain and reduced fat. So if you look at the nutrition label, they're similar in the calorie and macronutrients when you cut the serving size of the wheat thins in half. So they would be, really similar in calorie intake, in total fat, in sodium, and in the carbohydrates. If you cut the serving size of the wheat thins in half. But remember, you have to be mindful of serving size because as you can see, for the Ritz crackers, 5 crackers is 1 serving size. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm sitting at home watching TV, say for instance, I'm looking at Power, I'm just eating, not paying attention to how much I'm eating. It's really important to actually portion out your servings so that you're staying, or at least you're mindful of how much you're eating with each serving. It's okay if you double up on the serving size for the Ritz crackers. There's nothing wrong with that for a snack. It's just being mindful that you don't eat the whole box in one sitting. Next, we have graham crackers. And I grew up on graham crackers. I remember when I was a child and my grandma used to watch me and we would be watching her soap operas, All My Children, As the World Turns. We would sit and eat graham crackers. Now, graham crackers are okay, but you want to be mindful of the sugar when it comes to these snacks. So if you look at the nutrition label, 8 crackers is a serving size. It has 130 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, but none of that is saturated or trans. That's a great thing because that means that you're not having the bad fats. The fats are not that bad. They're okay. 24 grams of carbs, only 1 gram of dietary fiber. You want to try to eat 20 to 30 grams of fiber in your diet every single day. And research has shown that people usually only get 15 grams of fiber. So you want to increase your fiber intake in order to keep your digestive system moving. Make sure you're not constipated. So only 1 gram of dietary fiber and 8 grams of total sugar. 8 grams is not terrible, I'll be honest, but you just want to kind of limit or be mindful of the amount of sugars that you're eating and try to increase your fiber at every chance that you can get. This, to me, is a better option for this graham cracker snack. Of course, it doesn't taste the same, but it still tastes pretty good. And it still has the cinnamon brown sugar that like the graham crackers has. So I like this option better because as you can see on the front of the label, it has 19 grams of whole grains. That means that it has more complex carbohydrates than the graham crackers. These complex carbs are going to take longer for your body and more energy for your body to digest, which means that it won't spike your blood sugar level. That's important for people who have diabetes or who are pre-diabetic. You want to eat foods and snacks that are not going to immediately raise your blood sugar because that's how diabetes progresses. So this one, although it has 10 grams of added sugar, which is not my favorite, it has 19 grams of whole grains per serving. So it's still a better option than the graham crackers. Next, we're moving into the cereal aisle for breakfast. So I know we love our Frosted Flakes. We love our Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We love the Trix, but all of those cereals have a lot of sugar and they don't really have any nutrients for you. So I have a better option. And I think that this cereal is great because it still has a little bit of sweetness to it, but it has banana clusters, so you're adding in fruits. It has almonds and walnuts, you're adding in great nuts, and the nuts are going to be good fats and protein. And then you have the flakes, which is just basically the cereal. So if you look at this on the front of the box, it says 43 grams of whole grains. That is excellent. If you're going to eat Carbohydrates, you want them to be mostly complex and mostly whole grains, which means you have to look on the ingredients on the back of the carton, which here it shows whole grain wheat as the first ingredient. You want to always choose your carbohydrates that have whole grains or whole wheat as the first ingredient. That means that it's mostly whole grains. Complex carbs, great for you. So here, 1 cup is a serving size. It has 230 calories, 4.5 grams of fat, but only 0.5 grams of that is saturated, the bad fat. So that means it's mostly good fat, likely from those almonds and walnuts. Then you have 45 grams of total carbohydrates and 5 grams of dietary fiber. That's great. Remember, we want 20 to 30 grams per day of fiber. You're already getting 5 grams in this breakfast. It also has 6 grams of protein and 10 grams of total sugar. Not my favorite, but not that bad either. Here we have instant oatmeal. Now, when I was in college, I lived on instant oatmeal. The thing is, with instant oatmeal, you have to be mindful of the sugar that you're eating. So I compared the lower sugar oatmeal to the regular apple cinnamon oatmeal. And I promise when you taste it, you really can't tell that much of a difference. On the nutrition label, however, there's a huge difference. I want you to go down to the sugars. 4 grams of sugar and 2 of which are added sugar. That means that 2 of the grams of sugar is probably from the actual apples in the lower sugar box. That's great. Then if you look at the regular oatmeal, you see 11 grams of sugar, almost 3 times the sugar than the lower sugar option. And 8 of those grams are added. That's 4 times added sugar. All they're doing is literally taking sugar and adding it to make it sweet so that you want to eat it. So you want to try to go for the lower sugar option. That's the best option for you. And oats are the complex carbs, and those are going to be better for making sure your blood sugar doesn't spike. But your blood sugar could spike with this added sugar. So now that I'm an adult, I like to make my own oatmeal instead of eating the instant oatmeal. Of course, the instant oatmeal is a great option for if you're, trying to eat something quick and on the run. But if you have time to actually make oatmeal on the stove, and you can always make more than 1 serving and just put it in the refrigerator, meal prepping, just getting old-fashioned oats or these quick 1-minute oats is a little cheaper because it lasts longer, and you can monitor exactly how much sugar you're putting in. So as you can see, there's no added sugar, and all the other macros are pretty much the same. So next we have beans. Beans are such a great option for adding protein and fiber to your diet. Beans are also super, super inexpensive. As you can see, you can get a can of beans for 79 cents. And each can of beans probably has about, 3 servings. So you're getting 3 meals out of 79 cents for 1 can of beans. The only issue with beans is that because they are canned and they are non-perishable, they typically add sodium in them to keep the life of the beans, right? To help the shelf life. So you want to try to choose the low sodium option. Having a lot of sodium in your diet can raise your blood pressure, which can lead to heart disease. And you want to have your heart not working too hard because your blood pressure is too high. In my household, we love kidney beans, we love black beans, we love pinto beans, black eyed peas, garbanzo beans, which are chickpeas. All of those are great options for beans. So beans, you're going to have added fiber, and you're going to have added protein to your diet, which is protein that's not from an animal. So it's great for vegetarians and vegans. On the right side, we have lentils. Now, my 7-year-old daughter has been eating lentil soup for her lunch almost every day since she was 3 years old. She loves lentil soup, and it's delicious, but I don't know why she loves it so much, but I'm happy with it because it's so, so healthy. It's a legume. It's going to add in protein. It's going to add in fiber. So this bag of lentils is $1.79. Usually, if you get the store brand of lentils, it's significantly cheaper. I can normally get a bag of lentils that's 1 pound for 99 cents. And I can make about 8 cups of soup from just that 99-cent bag of soup. I literally take the lentils, clean them. You have to wash them or like drain them, wash them with water and then just drain it out. And then I put it into the crock pot with some spinach, you can put celery in it. You can put some, other vegetables in it, season it real good and let it slow cook for 4 hours. And then you have soup for the whole week. So lentils are a great, inexpensive option, very budget friendly, and they're filling. They will fill you up. Next, I wanted to show you soy sauce. Now, soy sauce is included in a lot of ethnic foods, but you have to be mindful of the sodium intake. Remember, high sodium equals high blood pressure. So you want to try to lower your sodium intake. On this shelf, they had less sodium soy sauce and regular soy sauce. So I put them side by side in the nutrition label, right? They both only have 10 calories in 1 tablespoon, but look at the sodium. The lower sodium soy sauce has 590 milligrams of sodium. That's still pretty high, but look at the regular soy sauce, 960 milligrams of sodium. That is so high in just 1 tablespoon. Imagine if you just dumping the soy sauce on there. You got to be mindful of it. So it's best to get low sodium anything as long as it's available. Next, we have flour tortillas. Now, I live for a taco. I love me some tacos, right? And these are large tortillas that are made for burritos. So like if you go to Chipotle, they're pretty much using these type of flour tortillas to make your burrito. So with this being the large flour tortilla to make burritos or even like sandwiches, like turkey wraps or whatever, you have 220 calories in 1 tortilla. Look at the fat, 6 grams of fat, and 3 of which is saturated, the bad fat. It has 36 grams of carbohydrates and only 2 grams of fiber. Remember, we want to increase our fiber, 5 grams of protein also. Let me show you a better option for the tortillas. This is my favorite tortilla, and you will see why it's my favorite. It is Olay brand, extreme wellness, high fiber, spinach and herbs, carb lean tortilla wraps. They're not as big as the ones I just showed you, but they're still big enough to make a burrito. They're still big enough to make a wrap. I actually make smoked salmon and avocados in mine. I mean, it's an amazing wrap, and I think it tastes delicious. Look at the nutrition label. In 1 tortilla, only 50 calories. Remember the tortilla I just showed you, 220? Now you've limited it, or you've gone down to 50. Only 1.5 grams of total fat, and none of it is saturated because the fat is coming from flax seeds, which are great fats, heart healthy. Only 15 grams of carbohydrates, more than half the carbohydrates of the previous wrap. But this is my favorite part. 11 grams of dietary fiber, 11 grams. You're already getting almost half of the fiber that you need for your entire day in just this one wrap. That's why I love it so much. It still has 5 grams of protein, but now you're adding in fiber, you're limiting your carbohydrates, and you're limiting your fat all in one wrap. So all you have to do is just swap it, just make a different choice. Now we're going down the pasta aisle. Now I grew up on spaghetti. I love spaghetti. I still eat spaghetti probably weekly till this day. Remember, I told you about the spaghetti squash. I think that's the best option for if you're going to eat spaghetti because it's a vegetable, right? But if you still gotta have the actual flour spaghetti, let me show you a few options. So what I grew up on was San Giorgio, regular white flour spaghetti. It's an okay option. It's inexpensive, only $1.49. Usually I can get the store-bought brand for 99 cents. But if you choose the whole grain option, now you're making your spaghetti 100% whole grain, which is going to be the complex carbs, and it's going to limit the amount of blood sugar spiking. So choosing the whole grain option over the white flour option is the best option. It still has very similar macros all the way around, but look at the fiber. In the regular pasta, only 2 grams of fiber. whereas in the whole grain pasta, 6 grams of fiber. You've already tripled your fiber just by switching to the whole grain pasta. And honestly, it tastes the same. Here are 2 other options of spaghetti that are fairly new, I mean, over the past couple of years. So the left one is called Bonza. It's made from chickpeas, right? And the right one is Berea Protein Plus. It's made from peas and chickpeas. I prefer the taste and the texture of the Berea Protein Plus, but the Bonza is still a good option. So they're similar when it comes to calories, only 190 calories. The Bonza chickpea noodles have more fat, but it's because chickpeas have more fat and it's not saturated, which is a good thing. It has the good fats. The carbs are about the same, 32 versus 38 grams of carbs. The fiber is about the same, 5 grams versus 5 grams of fiber. And then the protein, 13 versus 10. So all the macros are pretty similar except for the fat. But like I said, the chickpea noodle pasta is going to be good fat. So either way, these are really 2 really good options. It just depends on your personal preference, but these are both still better options than just regular white flour spaghetti. So now we're moving on to yogurt. Now, I love Greek yogurt. I feel like if you're going to choose a yogurt, because yogurt is good, it gives you probiotics that are naturally occurring, which probiotics help with your digestion as well. I just think that going with a Greek yogurt option is best because it has high protein. The issue with yogurt is that it's also high sugar. So if you look on the right, we have Chobani, banana and cream. And if you look at the sugar, it has 13 grams of sugar, 9 of which are added. So that means if you take out the 9 grams of added sugar, the rest of the sugar is probably from the banana, which is a naturally sweet fruit, but you have 9 grams of added sugar. Literally, they're taking sugar and adding it to your yogurt. So a better option would be on the left, the Oikos 000. The 000 is 0 added sugar, 0 artificial sweeteners, and 0% fat. So you're getting no fat, 15 grams of protein, and no added sugar. If you look at the nutrition label on the bottom, it has 5 grams of sugar, but no added sugar. They're not adding any sugar to it. So that sugar is probably coming from the fruits, naturally occurring fruit. Next, we have whole grain bread. Now, remember I said that choosing a whole grain bread and whole grain pasta is much better than choosing white bread. I know most of us grew up on Wonder Bread and it's delicious, but Wonder Bread is just straight white bread. There's really no nutrition in it. You can switch that to this heart healthy multi-grain bread, 38 grams of whole grains per 2 slices of bread. So this is going to be better because it's a complex carb. It's not going to spike your blood sugar. It's going to take your body a longer time to digest it, which is a good thing. So here on the right, we have the nutrition facts. Now, this serving size is 1 slice of bread. Be mindful that usually when you eat a sandwich, you use 2 slices of bread, or if you eat toast, you use 2 slices. So in your mind, you can kind of think, okay, I need to double the macros because I'm going to eat 2 slices of bread. So now you're at 220 calories, 4 grams of fat, but none of it is saturated. It's all unsaturated, which is a good thing. You want to stay away from the saturated and the trans fats. Then you have carbohydrates. So you're going from 20 to 40 if you have 2 slices of bread, but 3 grams in 1 slice. So 6 grams is dietary fiber. You're already doing well because now you're increasing your fiber intake. And only 2 grams of added sugar. So technically it will be 4 grams in a 1 sandwich. And then you'll have 10 grams of protein in that 1 sandwich just coming from the bread. So now you're having high protein, high fiber, and not too much fat. It's a great option. This might be my favorite slide, not because I love macaroni and cheese, because I don't, but I just wanted to show you If you're going to eat frozen meals, you can still make those frozen meals healthy and you can still have a better option. So Stouffer's is probably what we're used to, but lean cuisines are amazing. I know when I was in college, I lived on lean cuisines. So I wanted to show you the comparison of the macros and just so you can see. My biggest thing that I wanted to show you was the sodium. So for the Stouffer's, the nutrition labels on the left-hand side, 480 calories in this one package, 21 grams of total fat. Likely most of it is coming from the cream and the cheese of the macaroni and cheese. 9 grams of that is saturated, the bad fat. That's the fat that's going to clog up your arteries and cause heart disease and even a heart attack, right? Look at the sodium, 1,280 milligrams of sodium. That's 56% of your daily value. 56%, half of your day's allowance of sodium is being spent on this one package of macaroni and cheese. So that's what I really wanted to drive this point. It's a lot of sodium. 51 grams of carbohydrates and only 2 grams of dietary fiber. It's not that great. It's not that great. Whereas on the right side, we have the lean cuisine nutrition facts, 7 grams of fat. You're cutting the fat in three. Like you're literally taking it and cutting it in threes and only eating a third of the fat by eating the lean cuisine instead of the Stouffer's. 4.5 grams of it is still saturated, but that's still half of the saturated fat that's in the Stouffer's. 800 milligrams of sodium. Now you're going down in your sodium count, and now you're lessening your risk of developing high blood pressure. 35 grams of carbs, still only 1 gram of dietary fiber. So still not the best option to eat, but if you're going to eat macaroni and cheese that's frozen, you want to choose lean cuisine over Stouffer's because it's just healthier. Here we have milk options. Now, I know a lot of us grew up on whole milk, but it is not the healthiest. Honestly, you want to try to go to low-fat milk, at least 2%. But what I have pictured here is 1%. I get it. You don't want skim. Skim has no fat. I completely understand it. So my thing is, we just want you to make a better choice. It doesn't have to be the best choice, but if we can at least make a better choice, I'm happy. So for whole milk versus low-fat milk, you have 50 more calories in the whole milk than you do in the low-fat milk, right? 8 grams of total fat with 5 grams of that being saturated fat in the whole milk. If you look at the low-fat milk, only 2.5 grams of fat with 1.5 of that being saturated. So you're cutting the fat almost in a quarter. That's really important because remember that saturated fat is what's going to clog those arteries and cause you heart disease. So we want to try to limit the saturated fat as much as possible. All the other macros are pretty much the same with the protein, the carbs, the added sugar, or the sugar naturally occurring. But it's just the calories, the total fat, and the saturated fat are completely different between whole milk and low-fat milk. So low-fat milk, 1%, 2% milk fat, better options. Skim is the best, but I get it. Next, we have 2 different plant-based milks. Now, I don't drink regular milk anymore. I prefer oat milk, which is pictured on the right. I started off with soy milk. Now, there is some research that shows that soy milk increases estrogen hormone in women. So that's why I moved away from soy milk, but I get it. Is, some people think it tastes better. I prefer either almond milk or oat milk. Now, I have a niece with a nut allergy. So whenever she's here, we can't do almond milk. We typically do oat milk. And I think oat milk is nice and creamy. It's made from literally oats. And I just think it's a great option. But on the left-hand side, what I wanted to do with the comparisons was show you the difference between milk that has sugar in it versus unsweetened milk. So for the soy milk, you have the unsweetened on the left and the vanilla that is sweetened on the right. The macros are pretty similar until you get to the carbohydrates and sugars. For the unsweetened, you have no added sugar and 1 gram of naturally occurring sugar. Whereas for the vanilla that has sweetened, that is the sweetened milk, it has 11 grams of carbs with 9 grams of sugar. 8 of those are added sugar. So you want to try to limit your sugar by choosing the unsweetened soy milk. Similar to the unsweetened versus sweetened oat milk on the right-hand picture. The calories are double in the sweetened milk on the left-hand side. And look at the sugar, 4 grams of sugar versus no sugar. So oat milk already is less sugar than soy milk. And also if you choose the unsweetened unsweetened oat milk, is a better option. And then my last food slide is chicken tenders. Now, my girls, I try to not have them introduced to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, any fast food, but of course, you know, aunties and grandma introduce them, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. But of course, fast food restaurants are going to be high in saturated fat and high in trans fat, which are the terrible fats. So I chose this picture because I bought an air fryer. And what I do is I buy these frozen nuggets and I put them in the air fryer. And honestly, my daughters can't tell the difference of if it's McDonald's chicken nuggets or if it's healthier chicken nuggets. And then what I do is I go to McDonald's and I ask for some sweet and sour sauce. Or I go to Chick-fil-A and ask for some Chick-fil-A sauce. Then they have Chick-fil-A at home. Boom, life hack. So I'll also get some frozen French fries and put them in the air fryer as well. And it's just still healthier than frying it. So for these chicken nuggets, they're made with whole, only white meat chicken, which means that it's going to be the lean cuts of chicken and not the fatty cuts from the dark meat. The total fat in one serving is 6 grams. Only 1 gram of that is saturated versus it would be a lot higher if I actually went to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. 320 milligrams of sodium, which is not terrible if you stick to the proper serving size. Then you have 13 grams of protein. So, you know, either way, eating nuggets is not going to be the healthiest option. You want to eat unprocessed meats. But if you're going to choose nuggets or chicken tenders, you want to choose a healthier option by air frying it or baking it instead of deep frying it. So these are my tips for shopping on a budget. Plan your meals ahead of time and create a list. And then when you're in the grocery store, stick to that list. This way, you are being organized, you're not wasting time, and you're not wasting money by buying unnecessary stuff. Use the weekly ad for sales. On the very beginning of this presentation, I showed you the weekly ad for this week at my local Giant. So what I'll do is I'll plan my meals for the week and I'll look in the ad, the weekly ad or weekly circulator. If I see a different meat option than what I was thinking is on sale, so say for instance, I'm saying, okay, I want to have salmon for dinner. But if I see that the tilapia is on sale, okay, so I'm going to switch my dinner choice from salmon to tilapia. Now I'm saving money. So that is a great, tip for decreasing the amount of money that you're spending in the grocery store. Cut coupons. Couponing is always amazing because you'll save a couple cents on each thing, but those cents will add up. So, you'll end up saving $10 to $15 over the course of the whole grocery trip by just using coupons. And then also using your rewards card. Like I said, most grocery stores have bonus cards or rewards cards. And most times all you have to do is put in your phone number after you sign up and it'll take all those savings off. And then of course, like I mentioned earlier at Giant, you use the bonus card. Every dollar that you spend is 1 point. Once you reach 100 points and you just keep racking up the points, you'll get 10 cents off per 100 points at Shell. So, I mean, I've gone to the Shell gas station after racking up, points for several weeks, and I've gotten 60 cents, 70 cents per gallon off of my gas, which is a lot of savings. So you're saving money in the grocery store and at the gas station. Don't shop on an empty stomach. I know this one is a little difficult because sometimes you just don't have time to eat. But When you're shopping and you're hungry, you're likely to buy more things than you actually need. And then you're spending more money. And sometimes the food is even going to waste. So it's best to try to at least eat a little snack on the way to the grocery store if you can, so that you're not shopping while you're empty, because then you're shopping emotionally and you're just making choices based on how you're feeling in that moment versus your actual plan and your actual budget. Read expiration dates. Now, this isn't necessarily a tip for shopping on a budget, but it's just a tip for grocery shopping in general. Always read the expiration dates. There have been a few times where I have gone down like the dairy aisle and I was buying sour cream or yogurt or milk, and it's expired. And I didn't realize it because I didn't read the expiration date. So always be mindful about reading expiration dates on dairy products and on bread. For fresh fruits and veggies, only buy the amount that you need. So I don't know if you remember in the beginning of this, we were in the produce section and we were looking at strawberries, and they were buy two, get one free, which means you're buying 3 cartons of strawberries. On so many occasions, I will buy all 3 cartons of strawberries because I'm only paying for 2. But then at the end of the week, we haven't eaten all the strawberries and now they are molded and I have to throw them in the trash. Now I'm wasting money. I hate wasting money. So it's best to just buy the amount that you need, even if you just buy that one. And then maybe if you have to go back to the grocery store because you've already eaten all of that one and it's Wednesday and you still got to eat for the rest of the week. Okay, now you go back and you buy one more, but at least then you didn't waste them. And then the bonus, this isn't necessarily for shopping on a budget, but just for grocery shopping healthy in general. Shop on the outer perimeter of the store. I don't know if you've noticed, but most grocery stores, the outer perimeter is the produce section, the deli section, the seafood section, the meat section, and then the dairy section. You want to kind of stay away from the inside aisles, which is where all the boxed processed snacks are, right? You want to stay away from those snacks because they are processed, they have added sugar, they have added sodium. Of course, you got to go down the aisles, and I showed you, some aisles that I went down for the pastas and the beans and stuff like that. But you want to shop fresh food on the outer perimeter of the store as much as possible and stay away from those packaged foods as much as you can. And that is it. On this page, like I mentioned, I'm the co-owner of KromahFit Meals. So I just added in some information on how to find us. If you don't want to do the cooking for yourself and you don't want to meal prep for yourself, let us do it for you. You can visit kromahfit.com or at KromahFit on Instagram. And let us do it for you. Let us do all the hard work for you. We can do the grocery shopping for you, and we'll, prep your meals, and all you have to do is grab and go. Make your life easier.